Sparkling under the late summer sun, there lies an island inhabited with exciting cultural charm. A place where history meets the future over cappuccinos, jazz, and art. But today's exhibition is all about speed. One weekend a season, NASCAR packs up and crosses north into Canada to beautiful metropolitan Montreal and the cold technical road course, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Welcome to one of the most beautiful and infuriating, majestic and frustrating tracks on the circuit. Montreal's warm hospitality has given way to Mother Nature's ill manners in the form of rain, and more rain. No one has felt the cold shoulder of the Great White North more than Marcus Ambrose.
Ambrose goes back on him!
I just made one mistake and it cost me the race.
Chalet la ball. With a field loaded with road course ringers, and Carl Edwards hoping to repeat his success in '09, someone will definitely be begging you to pardon their French.
I'm telling you, boys, you gotta...
The national language may be French, but today, everyone speaks NASCAR. This is Montreal. This is NASCAR. Bonjour, y'all.
It is a wonderful city that has become home to a wonderful event. And today, no matter which language you use to describe it, it's simply a beautiful late summer day in Montreal. Fans by the thousands have been coming across the bridges by foot, by bus, by subway. Their enthusiasm and their energy a big part of what makes this Montreal race such a special happening. Trackside, the drivers are beginning to gather for introduction. Shortly, they'll buckle in and go racing on this demanding 14-turn track. One will have a trophy to take home and will be happy to fill out the appropriate customs forms if needed. ESPN welcomes you to NASCAR Countdown for one of the highlight races of the NASCAR Nationwide season, the 200-miler at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve on Ile Notre Dame in Montreal, Quebec. I'm Alan Bestwick. In a press release before this race, NASCAR said this Montreal event is one of the most anticipated of the season, with a penchant for being one of the most bizarre. I can hardly disagree. In 3 years of competition here, we've seen late race drama, unanticipated twists of plot, and surprise winners. And to sum up all three, all you have to do is look at the Montreal exploits of one driver, the man who drives this car, Marcus Ambrose. So Marcus Ambrose in search of his first career NASCAR win. Robbie Gordon behind him.
Robbie Gordon to the inside for the lead! Ambrose goes back on him!
Well, who is leading the race? When did the caution come out?
Can black flag me after the race? I'm staying here.
They are putting the black flag up for Robbie Gordon, and indeed, Gordon will hit Ambrose.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Marcus Ambrose, your leader, having trouble.
He goes too fast into pit lane, has to serve a pass-through penalty. Despite all this, Marcus is in third.
You know, we've dominated the race twice here in 2 years and haven't closed the deal.
And look at Ambrose. Is this guy good on a road course? Here he comes. Oh, Marcus! No! Can you believe this? Carl Edwards gets around him. Marcus makes one mistake all day, and it's going to cost him the win.
I just made one mistake and it cost me the race.
Well, Marcus Ambrose has led the most laps in this race the last 3 years and not taken home the trophy. As you saw, in 2007, he and Robbie Gordon tangled late. In 2008, he had a pit road speeding penalty, and last year, the last corner mistake cost him the win. Ambrose starts on the pole today. Mike Massaro, he says, only one result counts.
And that result is, of course, winning, something that has so far eluded you here in Montreal. Considering your history at this racetrack, what's your mindset going into today?
Well, everyone keeps talking about the past, but really I'm not focused on that at all. I'm worried about the future, which is trying to win this race today. So I'm in a good frame of mind. We've got a great car, got the pole position, you know, in pretty good style yesterday. It was a great fight with Jacques, and just ready to go get it. You know, really pumped up about our chances. We've got a good feeling about it, and we've got our cup crew here. We're just we've put everything into it.
You mentioned Jacques, a spirited battle yesterday during the qualifying session. What do you expect to happen between you and him on the opening laps here this afternoon?
Well, I'm pretty sure I made a whole country very annoyed at this little Australian, because I think the whole of Canada was cheering for Jacques to get the pole yesterday, but it wasn't to be. So just a dream for me to start alongside Jacques on the front row, you know, in his hometown. It's going to be pretty cool, but I don't expect too much trouble. You know, I'm going to try to get a really good jump off the start and just try and keep my fenders in front of his getting into turn one. I've chosen the right-hand side, which, you know, may or may not work out for me, but we'll see how it goes.
Should be fun to watch, Alan. This guy, he's got the car he won with in Watkins Glen a few weeks ago, looking for the same result.
Be fun to watch. Ambrose starting on the pole. Now that last corner mistake for Marcus in last year's race opened the door for Carl Edwards to score the win. Remember the final turns with Ambrose being pressured. He missed the first curve but clobbered the second one. It forced him outside just enough for Edwards to scoop by for the victory. Edwards says the crowd reaction to his win made it one of the most special victories of his career. Carl will lead the charge for the Nationwide Series regulars today against a field full of road course talent. But Carl has proven he's certainly no slouch when it comes to road racing. He's won 2 of the last 3 road course events in the Nationwide Series. This race a year ago and Road America in June. He starts 4th today. Vince Welch, he says this race is going to look totally different from what we've seen here before, though.
Alan, the biggest difference this weekend is the fact that it's dry. We haven't had the rain that we've had the past couple of years. Carl, how has that changed the preparation that you guys have done from a team perspective this weekend?
It just means you prepare those brakes. You know, you got to make sure that the brakes are going to hold up. We've got great brakes on the car, and it's going to be management of that. You know, and so far we've run in practice with clean air on the nose, and I think once we get in a group, it's going to be even more important to be easy on the brakes. But a really great car. We've got Will Overton, his wife Shirley from Fastenal. They've been great supporters of us. They're here at the race this weekend, so we've got a little pressure there. And we'd love to get you know, back-to-back wins for Fastenal and Copart. Everybody's talking about the brakes. How do you manage the brakes? I'm not the best at it, so I don't know. I'll let you know after the race. If you see any you know, a flaming blue car and running off the end of the racetrack, you know I haven't done my job. But I think it's just going to be about picking and choosing where you decide to really attack in the braking zones. It's going to be a very strategic race in that manner. Carl won it last year, and we'll see if he can make it back-to-back. Alan?
All right, Vince, thanks. We gave the pit studio a weekend at home, and overlooking the start-finish line is the broadcast booth, where I'll join Rusty Wallace and Andy Petrie for the call of the race in a little bit. They join us now. Let's start with Marcus Ambrose, gentlemen. Rusty, you've been at a racetrack before where it's frustrated you time and time again, and you put pressure on yourself coming back. How did it affect you?
It really affected me a lot, Alan. It really did. I think about Indianapolis, where I finished second there 3 times. And every time I thought, man, I had the best car that day. I should have won that big race, only to lose it at the very end. Well, that's the same thing that Marcus is going through right now. Man, I've been the best at this racetrack here in Canada. I had this deal sealed, and I screwed up at the very end and lost it. And I want to redeem myself. I want to get back on track. I'm the man. I can win this thing. That's what's going through Marco's mind right now.
Well, he's putting a lot of pressure on himself, but also there's a crew that came up here with him, a volunteer crew from his Cup team. There's a lot of pressure on those guys as well. You know, one mistake kept Marcus Ambrose from winning this race last year, and those guys down on pit road, they don't want that one mistake to come from them, so they come up here with the, you know, the thought of trying to get him what he really wants and deserves, but they don't want to make a mistake and keep him from winning it.
All right, let's use an Olympic term. Part of the facilities for the 76 Montreal Olympics are here on this island as well. Degree of difficulty. Comparing this track to the other road courses on the Nationwide Series, Andy, what's the degree of difficulty like here?
Well, it's very difficult, Alan. This is a very narrow, flat racetrack with a lot of technical corners and a lot of slow corners. Couple that with big, long straightaways. We've already heard about the brakes and how hard it's going to be. This is a very, very difficult track, and these double file restarts are really going to be exciting.
I think this is the type of track, Andy, it's going to force the drivers to overdrive this racetrack. It's real narrow. I expect some real aggressive driving today. And just like you said about the brakes, I do expect brake problems. And because of that, you're going to see some crashes. You're going to see some guys tearing the fenders off the cars. And I believe it's going to be one of the most aggressive races that we've seen all year long, especially on a road course.
When I hear you say aggressive, I think fun, Rusty. We look forward to seeing how it all unfolds over these next couple of hours. Talk to you more in just a couple of minutes. First, coming up, a closer look at this 14-turn track that's provided some really rough and tumble racing the last 3 years. We'll hear about some of the key corners to watch and why when the drivers will be behind the wheel in today's race. That and much more as the countdown to NASCAR continues from Montreal, where you'll see a lot of those Canadians jerseys today.
That the track is named after my father. The memories I have, the first one I have is when my dad won his first F1 race, which was in '78, and it was freezing cold, so after on the podium he was wearing a winter coat. Winning in Montreal would be great, but also winning in NASCAR, because it is completely different than anything I've done before.
The first Canadian to winning the Indianapolis 500.
In '97, when I won the championship, I crashed on the second lap, so that was frustrating. There was a wall painted, "Welcome to Quebec," and that's exactly where I crashed. It's great to race in my hometown. The fans here just love racing, whatever form it is in.
There are great fans at this track, and they'll be cheering hard for their man Villeneuve at the track named for his father. This speedway is